George, we're live.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, what a weekend. Let's have one fucking cheer for the champions of Europe. So yeah, uh, so yeah,
Yo, never say that.
let's see. So yeah, happy Wednesday, I think it is. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat about the Champions League win against Barcelona on Saturday. So yeah, I can't describe how much more it's going to be. So let me introduce you to my guest first. The Dasmobile, he's back. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, Stina's family have let Darren out for the evening because he's known as the patron now of the Stina fan club.
Well, I actually signed my contract for an extension of 2 years.
Yeah, I thought only 2 years.
Yeah, well, you know what it's like.
Mm-hmm. I suppose at your age, 2 years.
The money's good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Emma, how you doing, mate?
I am recovering. I don't actually remember leaving. I don't remember leaving. I mean, I remember leaving the Tollington. I don't remember getting there. So it
that sounds like me in Pink Street.
It was incredible in the Emirates, watching it in the watch along. It was just beyond magic. Yeah, and one of the stewards, if he watches this show, just shout out to I think Ted, his name is. He got me a chair halfway through the match because he noticed that my table had been stolen because I went by myself. So
otherwise, yeah, good work there. We'll chat about how it was like in the Emirates later in the show. Paul, how are you, mate? Obviously, I know you was at the parade yesterday as well. Was that yesterday? No, Monday.
Monday,
yeah. I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, didn't make it to Lisbon, unfortunately, but yeah, made it to the parade. So, yeah, that was a great experience. Great experience.
Yeah, we'll chat more about that. James, good to have you on, mate. Yeah, absolutely buzzing in the words of Leslie Russo.
Yeah, I believe the correct term was absolutely fucking buzzing. But yeah, I'm glad to see there's still a podcast here after mine and Laura's antics on this on Saturday.
I will say, before we move on, well done to you guys with the watch-along. And I was going to mention it in the group, but I thought, you know what, I'll go proper Katie McKay, fuck it. We'll talk about it. That was the biggest number of views we've had on a show. So to you two, well done. So really, really appreciate that. There was a lot of 600 and odd Chelsea fans crying, I think, watching it. So it might have been that. And then finally, I got to watch us win the fucking Champions League with this fucking legend. Mel, how you doing?
I am simply surviving. The weekend still doesn't feel real. I'm in denial of checking my bank account because I don't want to know how much I spent on pints.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But what a fucking... I think the emotional come down was worse than the hangover, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
So yeah, it definitely was. Just saying, Mel's a double winner this season. Won the title, Champions League. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone says that Millie Bright's better than Mel. Yeah, just saying. Everyone, welcome to everyone in the chat as well. No, exactly. Like, but yeah, welcome to everyone in the chat as well. Please drop like how you felt about the game. I know Dorian was absolutely a pleasure to watch it with him as well. I think it was really weird when we won. Everyone else was jumping around. I was just standing there in tears, like I just didn't believe it. Like it was. I've been to, like everyone knows, I've been to a lot of games in my life, like the men's games, but like that was probably the best game of my life. I'm not gonna lie. I think 18 years is a long time. Like, and let's be honest, not many people thought we was going to win. Like, Barcelona are probably the best team. Well, they was, just saying. But, like, they've got players like Pateas, Bon Matty, Darren's mate. We'll get on to her later in the show. But just saying, in Frieda's pocket, mate. In Frieda's pocket. But yeah, it was just an amazing moment. We'll start with for those who went to Lisbon, I'll start with you, Darren. Obviously, there was a lot. The atmosphere was interesting, wasn't it? Like on the Friday and the Saturday, the vibe around. I think the vibe changed from the Friday to the Saturday. I wouldn't say there was anyone negative, but I think it was more like thinking, how are we here at the start, wasn't it?
Well, to a certain degree, yeah. I mean, most of us met up at the fan zone, didn't we? Friday afternoon, Friday evening.
Is that when we started our civil war?
That's when we started. I mean, that was that was so much fun. The first person I bumped into was the lovely Mel. So thank you for coming over and saying hello. Appreciate that.
No worries.
And then I finally bumped into Dorian and George and Scott and Michael and the rest of them. And of course, Felix. Must never forget Felix.
No, what a legend Felix is.
He is.
What a legend.
Probably.
I wish I was 5% like him in drinking.
He did slow down, though, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Felix alcohol consumption or mine. We'll leave that one.
We ain't got that long.
Well, actually, I mean, in fairness, what I would consider a lot of alcohol for me, for you guys, particularly you, Jules, because you like a beer, is quite insignificant. I can get pissed on 3 beers, and I did, and a couple.
Yeah,
of
he's a cheap date, guys. Like, just saying.
I am a cheap date, but as George would always say, it's because I'm old. But there we are. But yeah, fan zone was fantastic, and the atmosphere pretty much built from there on in, didn't it? Saturday on Pink Street, it was quite muted before the game because it wasn't that packed. But after the game, oh my freaking God, you could not move for love nor money. And George, you said a couple of minutes ago that's one of the best games you've ever been to. I agree wholeheartedly, but I'd also say that's one of the best parties I've ever been at as well. After party, if you want to call it an after party. Buzzing. I think most of us left about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, I think I left about midnight, but then I needed to get something to eat because I was like the Walking Dead, I think, at that stage. For
those that weren't there, even before the game started, Mel had a top off.
Yeah, I heard about this.
It was hot. You can't expect me to have a top on. I also want to say, however, I did get caught on the TikTok of Sky Sports WSL with 2 pints in one hand, no top on, and my vape in my other hand. And I didn't know that video existed till my own mother sent me it, and I got, you're a fucking disgrace. So I was like, well, the day's going well so far.
like back in the years, you had Gaza with a dentist chair. That's what you had. And now it's just Mel, double pint Mel on Sky. That's what it is. That's why they've got rid of loads of people. Like today, like they've sacked loads of people. They think, no, we need Mel on Gillette Soccer Saturday when she ain't got a game. That's what it is.
I think the last thing I wanted to say, George, about the atmosphere was the fan walk, and what we did on that metro was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. That will live long in my memory. I think I probably share the same sentiments as most of us that were there. Apologies for those that weren't there. I don't mean to be going on and on, but the feeling when you come down from a buzz like that, it hurts, doesn't it? You just want to do that every single day.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I think what it is as well, from being there, like being in an atmosphere like that, feeling that you've taken over a place as well. Because it wasn't just Barcelona have a lot of fans that will appreciate that, like, and they have a great following. But Arsenal, some of the time, I thought we overdone that. Like I thought, like how we took over Lisbon. Like I've seen plenty of men club supporters do that. That's the first time I've ever seen it in from the women's fan base, and it's been posted by people. It's a change in the guard. It's a change in the mentality. All it is positive. Like women's football is on the map now, and people have to stand up and look at that and say, you know what, fair play. Whether you like women's football or you don't, that is for a different show and a different perspective. But just appreciate what happiness and joy that gives individual people.
You said it yourself, George, and after the final whistle, you weren't the only grown-ass man crying. There's quite a few men I see crying their eyes out, and women, and children. Everybody was tearing their eye because it was just an emotional moment.
I actually don't think I've ever cried that hard in my life.
It was emotions of a roller coaster, not just the season as a whole, but the Euro campaign that we had. You know, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of Madrid, and so on and so forth. To actually be there to witness that, to be the best team in the world on paper, was just fucking epic. And that's me finished. I'll let somebody else speak.
Yeah. I'll come to you, Emma. Obviously, you went to the Emirates to watch the watch-along screening of it. What was the atmosphere like there before and around the stadium?
There was a bit of annoyance in the crowd because they wouldn't open the door like bang on 3:30, but that all does it all the time, don't they? They don't really let you in bang on time. But then when you got upstairs, everyone was like, "Oh wow, this is such a like high-end section to watch it in." It was actually, you know, when with the watch where the girls went after. Have you seen the videos of the girl like after with their after party? They went actually to that section, and it was just it filled so much so quickly. Like I went to the toilet and then someone had like taken my table, so there was like literally everyone grabbing seats everywhere. But it was absolutely insane. There was like queues for the free drink and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Don't get me started about queues for drinks. Yeah, we'll come on to that later. But yeah, I'm glad it was a decent atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
Paul, I'll come to you. Obviously, we'll go into the game a little bit, and then we'll talk about the atmosphere afterwards, like with Mel. But with the game, obviously, Van Donselaar recovered from her injury. I think that the lineup we saw was probably the one that we was expecting to see, wasn't it? Like I said before the game, I thought the first 11 were important, but the substitutions were what would potentially, if we were going to win us that game.
Yeah. Obviously, a couple of them have been either rested or nursing injuries for the last couple of games, including Daphne. Obviously, she was wrapped in cotton wool, wasn't she? Really, and protected, ready for this game. But yeah, the starting 11, the subs that came on, even the subs that were unused, they all played a part in the day itself, and as a team, they were absolute world class on that day. And yeah, we've said it before on this podcast that we have got world class players, but they just don't do it week in, week out. But they all showed up. They were all outstanding, every single one of them, for the whole 97 minutes. And even people like Lotta and Lena that only came on for their cameo in the last few minutes, they just slotted in, did what they needed to do. And some players could have come off that bench and thought, oh, I'm only going to be on for 3 or 4 minutes. I won't really get much touches on the ball. But yeah, they just did what they needed to do, and yeah, it was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. Mel, I'll come to you. Obviously, a lot of us have said a lot about Leah this season on this podcast, but for me, I thought that was her best ever game in an Arsenal shirt. What did you think?
I mean, I'll hold my hands up. I'm always one of the first to slate Leah and say that she's not been good enough and she's not been consistent, she's not been this and that. But on Saturday, that 97 minutes that she played out of her skin. And we've seen it time and time again on Twitter and stuff like that she's been called the biggest big game bottler and everything under the sun, to say that sort of suggests that she wasn't going to turn up on Saturday when we needed her most. But I think no matter what she does going forward, that performance from her will be etched in the memory of Arsenal fans, Arsenal players, anybody who watched that game. Is easily one of the best performances we've seen from her in an Arsenal top. And I think if she plays that level consistently, then she's unstoppable. There's nothing to say that she's done it once, she can easily do it again. But I think, your big players rise to the big occasions, and sort of like Kim, Leah, Daphne, Stina, everybody like that, sort of, they showed it on Saturday that you put them in those situations where it's basically to them life or death, and they played absolutely out their skin.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think she, like you say, everyone says big game bottler, but Saturday I thought she properly stood up. I thought she was absolutely immense. James, I'll come to you. Obviously, as the first half went on, I think we had the disallowed goal, didn't we? Like a few minutes before half time, but in a weird way, I think that gave us actually a lot of confidence actually to go on. And it was, I think, a lot of people saying, "Oh no, it wasn't," but I think it was probably the right decision, and VAR did make that, even though we don't want that. But yeah, the way the confidence grew from that offside goal.
Yeah, you can see it the full game. I mean, I even said it to Laura about 20 minutes in. It's like we had Barcelona absolutely rattled. They did not have a clue what to do with us. And then the goal, it was offside. I didn't see it we watched it on TNT. I didn't see it on theirs, but I seen the highlight repeat on Dazen. And when you see it, she's a good maybe half a yard offside. But at the same time, I think that was a blessing, if I'm being honest. Because if that goal had stood, I think Barcelona would have absolutely terrorised us in the second half. That being disallowed, Barcelona felt that knocked their confidence a bit. And you can see the cockiness, especially getting into the second half of Barcelona. It was more of a, our goal's coming, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Rather than we need to watch because Arsenal are actually going to do something.
Do you think, Jay? I'll come back to you again quickly, James. Do you think it was a confidence of Barcelona? Do you think there was a little bit of cockiness and arrogance from Barca in that first half?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. You could, as I say, you could see it. The sort of first maybe 20, 25 minutes, Arsenal were kind of in and about it. We had a couple of chances. Obviously, we hit the bar. Then Frida with that absolute, what would have been an absolute world beater of a goal that was perfectly saved. And then obviously as well, the goal getting chopped off just before half time. You could see the arrogance in Barcelona. It was as if, that's the best you've got and you still can't do anything with it. And as I say, it carried forward into the second half in the way that they were attacking. I did say in the watch along, it's like we're really starting to drive a luck a bit. And this second half, whereas Laura viewing it was like, no, really, when you look at it, it's like so easy. Everything, even those balls getting through, everything's getting mopped up by your defence. So I think their confidence became over arrogance more than anything, and especially leading into the second half. And then obviously when we do get the goal, I said it in the watch along and I've said it in the group. As soon as their goal came, it completely killed Barcelona because they had no idea what to do with us for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Darren, I'll come to you. Obviously, we got to half-time 0-0. And then in the first probably 15, 20 minutes of the second half, we had to absorb a lot of pressure, didn't we? Do you think that kind of made us stand instead to show how solid defensively that Rene's got us at the moment? Because I think quite a few teams probably would have folded under that.
I think you're absolutely right. Thank God we didn't. Well, if it was under Jonas, we wouldn't have been there in the first instance, would we, to be frank? But I think Rene got it absolutely spot on. Paul mentioned earlier on that we could pretty much guess the team lineup. I think the only either option might have been whether it was going to be Wally or Kim, but actually it was always going to be Kim because for the last few months, she's been playing out of her skin. So that was never in doubt, I guess. But I think she got it absolutely right. You know, she set up the team to absorb that pressure from Barcelona. I do agree, James. They are. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they were arrogant. I think it was just Barcelona being Barcelona. They are a frigging good team. And they, on paper, are a better team than us. And they showed that on the field for quite a considerable portion of the game. But Rennie got it spot on with her game plan. It was set up to absorb that pressure. And I don't like Arsenal playing this way, but also almost absorb the pressure and on the break get them. But I think you're right also, James, that when we did eventually score, the game, the second half, the first 15 minutes, George, as you said, it was more pressure. But then I think 60 minutes when those substitutes come on, who was it? The first ones was Stina and Beth, wasn't it? That's when it was like a flick of the switch. This is where we're going to start to attack more. I find it very interesting, actually, and I said this on the group the other day. Watching it live in the ground, to me, it seemed like a very even game. But when you watch the highlights back and you look at the stats, they actually dominated us. They dominated all the stats over us in nearly every single area, apart from the one that mattered, of course, which was the goal stat. And we got that goal, they didn't. But hats off to Renee. I think she done an excellent game plan now. I did read somewhere, and I was telling one of you two guys about it, either at the stadium or the fan park, I can't remember, that I read that they got some of the younger academy girls into the training ground. And for 2 weeks, or the week up leading up to the game, they studied Barcelona's movements. And they replicated that with the younger girls and the first 11, if you will. They then set out their game plan, how to absorb that pressure and how to deal with that pressure. And if that is true, then hats off again to Rennie and the first 11 that come on the pitch, because it was remarkable. It was such a wonderful performance to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what we've said before, Darren, is that what I really, really like about Renee is that she learns from mistakes in other games. Like, she don't just make the same mistake like all the time. Like, obviously, there's going to be times when we go through bad runs, like we've seen, like in the league, and like we know that our league form, if we want to push Chelsea and win that WSL, needs to be a lot better. We know that. That's not a conversation that we don't know. But if you look at the examples I'll give, it's like the Liverpool game we lost in the FA Cup, then we played them in the league. Didn't make those same mistakes. Didn't give Olivia Smith the time on the ball that she needed, and then we score we battered them at home. I think you look at Real Madrid. There was mistakes in the first leg they made. They learnt from that. Lyon, for example, like we went to Real Madrid, lost 2-0, come back and won at the Emirates. And then when we lost to Lyon at home, they only had that 1 goal lead. So they kind of learnt in that sense as well. So I think that's what I like.
The issue is, George, I mean, these girls, we're all human beings and we're prone to mistakes. So, yes, mistakes will be made. What we must definitely try to improve on next season is stepping our game up. Maybe we're arrogant when we're playing the lesser teams. We have a God-given right to beat these girls, and we don't, these lesser teams, and we don't really try too hard, because it was the lesser teams last year we suffered against. We need to get that right next season. Let's defend the Champions League crown, and let's get one of the other 3 in our bag as well, in our back pocket as well. But
exactly,
I think Renee's going to be, exceptional next year. We need to bring in. I know you're going to talk about this in a minute, George, but I'll just quickly say we do need to invest over the summer as well.
Yeah, of course you do. You need to. You use it as a sort of a lead pad, don't you? Like you've won the Champions League. We're probably one of the most attractive clubs in the world now, even though we was quite attractive anyway. But with being why would you want to go Chelsea if you want to win the Champions League? Kira and Lucy Bronze made that mistake.
No.
So I think, I think you've got the crowd plays a lot into that. I was talking about it on a podcast with Laura last night. Like, there's no reason we can't go for the bigger name players in the world. And I do find it funny is like most of us on here were selling half of the team a few months ago, but I'm assuming that we're not all doing that now. So, but we'll come to that in the show next week. Emma, I want to come to you and talk. Like everyone on here, it's not a secret that I'm a big fan of Caitlin Ballon Ford. You know what I mean? I thought she was absolutely brilliant again on Saturday. The tracking back, off the ball. I think this season she's proper stepped up and put some really good performances in, hasn't she?
Yeah, definitely. She was the way she was defending was like, I mean, her sliding tackle, and she celebrated it like a goal. Well, that's what we need. We need people that care about the passion, and it's good to see that Arsenal blood runs in her veins. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
She
think, I think she's brilliant, Caitlin Ford. Like, I can't big her up anymore.
No, she did do it. She was incredible on the pitch. She was like her, Leah, and like all of our back four as well. Like none of them actually had any fouls that they gave away. Like if we want to win the WSL, we need to play that like that every single game. And I'm hoping that Renee's the manager to do it. So hopefully this season is ours. Well, next season.
Yeah. So, yeah, Paul, I'll come obviously about Caitlin Ford as well. Is like, yeah, going forward, she like when she like we've seen it earlier in the season, haven't we? Like the skill that she has, but it really doesn't get mentioned. The work off the ball that she does it?
No, I think there's a couple of players there, and Caitlin's definitely one of them that you notice her when she's going forward, and she gets all the praise for what she does there when she's got the ball. But when she's off the ball, it's the tracking back, it's the helping out in midfield, it's the getting back to help Katie at left back when she's gone further forward or further into the middle, and that's what a lot of these players just need the recognition for, is their off the ball abilities and off the ball movement as well. If you look at some of the stats that come out after the games of the so-called heat map of where they've been on the pitch, there's some of them that you wouldn't believe where they were. And yeah, it's something that we are quite strong at as a team for our off the ball movement. And now we just got to work on a little bit more of the on the ball during the WSL games next season, and pip Chelsea to it.
Yeah. Mel, I know there's quite a few comments. Would you be able to read a few, just because I can't keep up?
Let's start at the top. Dorian said that the sing-off with the Barca fans at the fan park was epic. I went to the fan park on Saturday before the game. It was just wall to wall with Barcelona fans, all because Hannah wanted to buy a fucking hat and made me stand in a queue for an hour and a half. But it's fine. I managed to get about 5 pints in that time, so she's forgiven. And it was literally just, like I say, it was wall to wall with Barca fans. But when we got on the metro to get to the ground, we sang from the moment we got on the train to the moment we got off. And me and Alex and our group, we had Barcelona fans asking us for photos and that with them, which was good to see. A lot of like the older boys who were going, who've obviously been following the men's team for a while and have decided to start following the women's team as well, asking us for photos, and they were taking a photo with my Kim flag and stuff like that. So that was good. It was a good moment, and obviously hurling abuse at the Barca fans that decided to walk through the middle of Pink Street when we were all gathered there. Brought me great joy as well. I really enjoyed that. Cloudy's also said that we had some great defensive work all around the park. It was good tracking back from the wingers as well, which was important when Barca were trying to get at us out wide. I think both wingers on both sides and our right back and left back were phenomenal. I will die on the hill that Emily Fox hasn't put a foot wrong this season, and she's continued her streak of not losing a final that she's played in. So that was a stat I pulled out before the game when everybody was like, Mel, shut up. You're going to jinx us. And I was like, well, last time Hibs women won the Scottish Women's Premier League was 18 years ago when we won the Champions League. And they've just won the Scottish Women's Premier League again. So we're going to win, guys. It's fine. I'd like to say I wasn't wrong. for everybody who doubted me. Where are we? I've lost where I am because people keep commenting. Guys, I think I'm still hungover. Give me some peace. Where are we? So we only had 4 fouls in the whole game. I'd argue that some of our fouls weren't actually fouls, but the ref was class. Time and date that. I've just agreed that a referee was good. Time and date it. But no, the referee was phenomenal.
It's all happening. Like we'll.
I think I'm stuck in my head.
Mel, you've missed the most important message on there from Scott.
Is that the one where he says that he's that we also have voices?
Is it about Stina? Right.
I'm just here to remind everybody.
Just hold that thought. Hold that thought, Darren, because when Stina chat comes, I am going to come to you after I've humbly apologised. So you will have your moment.
Scott's also said that he doesn't think that Barcelona really had a good clean-cut chance at any point. And I think that sort of... I would agree with that. I think that also comes down to the bit of arrogance they were playing with. Like James said earlier, I think they very much went into the game thinking they were the better team, which they were. Not anymore. And sometimes when you go into games thinking that, you couldn't hit water if you fell out a boat. And that's exactly what happened to Barcelona. And I love that. Yeah. A lot of the comments are just speaking about how good the atmosphere was, how brilliant.
Cool. Yeah, so guys, I know there's a couple new people, so welcome to watching the show. It's great to have you here. Remember, hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna go to you, James, first. I'm making him wait. Darren's probably itching. He's absolutely itching to talk about it, but we will. We'll talk about it as much as it deserves, which is quite a long time. So, James, I want to talk to you about Russo. I thought it was another good professional performance from her, especially in the final. Like, just like you're saying, like bringing the other players into play. What was your thoughts, Russo?
Yeah, the same as every single one of them. I mean, we could sit here all night and shower every single player in that part and praise, and Russo's no different. I mean, I'll freely admit, I've been wanting to say in the past, she's not as hot as what I thought she was, but I mean, take nothing away from her, even her off. We knew, I think that was the thing getting into Saturday, we knew we were going to see very little of that ball. And what Russo did see of it, she done absolutely fantastic with. As you say, bringing players in, even when we were on the attack, other players, Vida running in, Cammy Little when she had her attempt to try and knock somebody out in row W. It was, you always seen it. She was looking to see that pocket of space. Where can I pull that Barcelona player? Create that wee gap just to try and give us a half chance. And I think the same as the rest of them, she done absolutely brilliant with it.
Yeah, cool. The moment he's been waiting for. Darren. So I have to apologise to you and the rest of the SFC. Like, I have absolutely slagged Stina off to the hilt. Didn't think she was good enough, but once again in a cup final, she's turned up when it mattered. The mentality of that woman is fucking unbelievable. So I apologise. Please forgive me, Darren. The floor is yours.
Apology accepted, but I mean, if we're going to be perfectly honest, she is still offside too many times. But she's never.
It wasn't on Saturday.
She was offside once, but not for the goal, frankly. But I think we are all agreed, and we've said it many a time on this show. She might not necessarily be a starter unless we go into James's 4-4-2.
No, moving on.
Never going to happen. But she is a big impact player, and she. You know, when we've tired out a team and the spaces are open at the back, her speed, her movement, her awareness, it kills teams, you know. And she's like, I mean, the Chelsea girl, wasn't it? The Conti Cup. fox in the box. She just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And we must take no credit away from Beth Mead for that reverse pass, because that was
brilliant pass.
That was exceptional. Yeah. It might have been a different story if that defender that was on Stina, and I don't know who it was, hadn't run out to try and cut the pass out from Beth. That left Stina wide open. She managed to control the ball, and in it went.
I think with Stina as well, Darren, I don't know if you agree, is the longer the game went on, like Barcelona were really struggling with that ball over the top.
Yeah.
And I think I turned to Belinda and said, I don't know why I'm saying this, but this game's calling for Stina. Like it just felt like maybe stretching that defence, and that's what I mean, saying like bringing the subs were quite as important as the players that were playing. So like you bring people on like Beth Mead and Stina. Let's have it right. You got Beth Mead, who's a match winner as well, and is very experienced. So, but Stina in that moment in the cup finals, kind of you couldn't really bet against her not scoring in that.
She's a big game player. We all know that, and she is. I think she's an exceptional talent. Maybe I'm biased, but she is my favourite player in the Arsenal squad, and I couldn't be more pleased for her. And of course, the first thought that ran through my head when she scored was, "Where's George?" He was only 2 rows in front of me, but you couldn't hear me shouting at you. But yeah, no, I mean,
I did hear you shouting. I just chose to ignore it. I was too on edge. I thought, you know what, he can have his 8 hours of winding me up afterwards and like the rest of his life. So I was like, no, but
I mean,
it was good to have, especially that, and Hannah was there as well, wasn't she, Mel?
Yeah, Hannah was there. From the moment Stina scored until the full-time whistle went, I think Hannah was just going between crying and hyperventilating to the point that I had to tell her to sit down.
Sounds a bit like Darren.
I genuinely thought when I realised it was Stina that scored, I thought she was going to pass out. There was lots of, in our row between Alex and that, there was lots of kissing of Hannah's Stina Blackstenius tattoo. There was chaos. I almost broke my leg. I don't think that would have gone down well with my coach, considering we've got our league playoff on Sunday, but don't care. Made it worse that I almost broke my leg when it was the own goal. Obviously, that then got ruled out, so that was a really humbling moment. It was fantastic. I think Hannah didn't come home until 6 o'clock in the morning, so I think that sort of states the level that Hannah was at after seeing Stina score that goal. I've never seen her so drunk. She was having to get taken care of by in the airport when we were flying out. We bumped into the little sister of a girl that I went to school with, so we sort of took her under our wing because she was there herself. So Georgia ended up looking after Hannah in her very drunken state. So yeah, Hannah came headfirst through the Airbnb door at 6 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't decide if we were getting robbed or if I was dying. I actually thought I was going to come out of my room and see Hannah face down in the hallway, but
now I understand your message when you said that you were rudely awoken at 6 a.m. No, that makes sense.
Because to be fair, our Airbnb door stuck a little bit, but so you had to give the key like a wee shuggle to actually get the door to open. Translation for anybody who's not Scottish, you had to give the key a bit of a wiggle. But yeah, I genuinely thought Hannah, because I hadn't heard from her. I went home at like 11 because my leg hurt and I was steaming. I either thought Hannah's dead, Hannah's passed out somewhere, Hannah's been abducted by somebody, Hannah's gone on the hunt for Stina's family, or I think she had that many flags in her back pocket. I thought one big gust of wind, she was going to end up back in Scotland. So it was one of those that I was thinking. And then, yeah, head first through the Airbnb door at 6 o'clock in the morning. So.
Hey, George.
Yeah, it was, with Stina's goal, James, obviously I'll come to you quickly because obviously you've been a big advocate for Stina as well. She just had that killer instinct, and I get what other people are saying, that she's a big game player, I think it's more than that because it's like when the pressure's on at the highest. Like if you look at it, so the cup finals and then the Man City games, like in the league, like the pressure's absolutely huge. Like you can say we've had big games against, say, like Chelsea and Man United at some point, but when the pressure's at the absolute top, Stina seems to deliver. That is some big fucking mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as Dan. I've said it, I don't know how many times. Stina is a striker. The day we lose her, we will regret it. I think we've got right now what we've got is the best of Stina. And she is, I do agree, as Darren said, she's offside way too much for a striker. But again, that off the ball mentality. Every time she's on straight away, the defence, they don't know what to think. Are we going to hold a high line, catch her off? What's she going to do? Where's she going? And all of a sudden, it creates that pockets of space for other players as well to get in. But she is, for me, and a lot of people, I don't really know many English examples, so I'll need to use a Scottish one. She's a bit like a Chris Boyd in the sense of a striker. You've got to put the ball exactly where Stina wants it. But I will say for a goal on Saturday, I know a lot of you obviously were live and everything else. You may not be like me and Laura and watch the game back 1,003 times. Even you see that ball getting passed through, if Stina was to have ran the way Stina normally runs, she may have still been onside, but she'd have missed the ball. The fact that Stina doesn't actually make a move to go to get that ball is the reason that ball lands so perfectly for her. And as everybody, we all kind of joked about it. What's the score going to be? And I know some of us were saying, myself as well, I said 3-0. But we all kind of joked it's the last minute, it's the last kick of the ball, it's Stina Blackstenius.
Yeah.
But it's not really a joke because she always is. As said, Conti Cup, Chelsea, she popped up, Man City, last minute, it's always Stina. And she's got some hell of a mentality for someone that takes so much slack. And all the praise is going to come to her and all the congrats, she deserves every last bit of it. Because there's no many players that would be able to take the pounding that she does and still go on that pitch and deliver what she does.
I think it's like what Scott said in the comment that she's a game state player as well, and you're not going to get those situations, say, against your Crystal Palaces or your Leicesters, are you? It's only going to be against, and you're never really going to see Barcelona or teams like that playing low block football. So I think that is a kind of an aspect to it as well.
The thing is, and this is a bit, I'll be completely honest, and I've said it for quite a while with Stina. Stina is one of those players you cannot give her time to think. Don't let her think. Just give her the ball with that. She's basically got that 2-second instinct to swing her foot and kick it towards a goal. If you give Stina time, there was an example, she was through 1-1. The Barca keeper saved it with her foot. She had too much time to think on that ball. Where am I putting it? What am I doing? Am I getting round the keeper? Am I having a shot? And it's as if she gets in her own head. Just don't give her that time and she'll come up with the goals. She'll come up with the goods.
According to DAZN, that was Russo anyway, not Blackstenius.
According to absolutely everybody, it was Russo who scored the goal.
Ridiculous.
By
the way, James, I've just promoted you. James, I've just promoted you.
As I said, we watched it in TNT, and as soon as Stina scored, Russo's stats came up.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. You know the stats they bring up, it's X number of goals in so many games. And I was like, I didn't notice until we watched it back. Obviously, we watched the replay through DAZN, and that was when we seen they done the same thing. It was 3 and 4 times. Russo, no, you've done the sub, you said the sub, Russo's been took off, Russo's not there, and you're still turning around at that. Stina, you can't mix the two up. One's English, one's Swedish. Well, one's 4 foot something, one's 6 foot something. There is a big difference. I get they're both blonde, but
They're both blonde. There's only 2 between their numbers. It's not easy for us partially sighted.
We need to have a word with Grimsby Jack to get them sorted in that area.
To be fair, but they've done it a few. I noticed it, but they've done it a few times during the game. Even like I said, the pronunciation for what's supposed to be the big advocate of women's football. Their channels like the big advocate for it, and it was like the pronunciation, mixing players up, everything. It was like especially in the biggest stage possible, you're letting yourselves down a bit.
Yeah.
I was a wee bit disappointed in that sense with their sort of broadcasting of it.
But you agree, James, that Stina was exceptional, yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Listen, as I said, I introduced myself to everyone in the group. I am the podcast dinosaur. 442. I don't care when you stick it on the park. Stina backs tennis.
All right.
She'll always give you something.
Okay, James, I'm going to officially promote you on this show. You're now vice president of the SFC, okay?
I appreciate that. I accept that promotion with honour.
You're welcome.
Well, what we'll do is we'll mention about the zone to Brother Grimsby. That's his new name. So yeah, Emma, I'm going to come to you. I think Stina's got a lot of plaudits, like she fully deserves. But that pass from Beth Mead, what a pass that was! I think she showed that she's still got that split pass, match-winning mentality, hasn't she, with Beth? And hopefully she does sign a new deal.
Yeah,
Not sign a deal,
definitely.
stay. I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want Beth to stay. I want her to stay in that winning mentality. Winning mentality. And just go and put that into the Euros, because this year is coming home again. There is no way that they're going to take that title away. You don't agree? Who do you think's going to take it then, Darren?
I really hope so. But
yeah,
you can never discount the Spanish.
On behalf of myself and Mel, Emma, I sincerely apologise, but we're Scottish. Anybody but England.
No, honestly, I don't. I have no worries about that. Like, I mean, I'm half Irish as well, so it's kind of like, who do I support and that. But no, I'm definitely a Lioness, because it's only up the road from Wembley anyway. So,
well, I mean, Emma, I agree with you. I mean, I sincerely hope they do bloody win, but I can't. I mean, if I was a betting man, I'm not. If I was, I'd be putting.
I could be really honest and probably really unprofessional, but I'm not really bothered.
I'd put money on Spain. Why not?
We won the fucking Champions League. That's what matters to me.
Yeah. I put a £2 bet on and got £24 back.
George was saying.
There was someone. Dorian might be able to remember this, but there was someone who put a bet on. If it was Stina to score and us to win, I think they won between £500 or £800. There was someone I was talking to. It was someone I was talking to at Pink Street, and I really can't remember who it was for obvious reasons. That weren't you, Darren. I wish it was me as well. I wish I'd done it just like as a joke.
Yeah, I wish I'd have done that. I could have used that.
Yeah, could have paid for my season ticket. So yeah. Obviously, we got the win. We held out, Paul. Yeah, Paul, we held out for the win. I think it's been mentioned in the comments, the emotions at the end of the game. I can't lie, I think there's a video of me crying, just standing there. It's the emotions everywhere, all over the world. How was you feeling when that full-time whistle went?
Yeah, I was enjoying the game from my back garden with some friends and family around. But yeah, the emotion that you could see in the stands, you could see the pictures that were coming through on Facebook as well and on Instagram, and everyone was together, weren't they? We were just like one big family, and it was just an amazing moment to watch. And you could just see on the players' faces how much it meant to them
Did you get a noise complaint from the police in your garden?
No, but I have had to apologise to the neighbours.
If you can't complain, if you can't get in trouble for celebrating us winning the Champions League, no other better time to do it, is there?
No, exactly. And I had a free-flowing beers on hand for the whole afternoon.
Oh, nice, Paul.
So,
nice one.
Yeah.
Mel, obviously, it was quite an emotional trip. Generally, how was you at the end of the game? Apart from probably emotionally battered in tears, like, tell us your experience.
The whole weekend was just phenomenal. I think from the minute we sort of landed in Faro and sort of gathered more and more Arsenal fans who were waiting for this 3-hour fucking Flixbus to take us into Lisbon. Just sort of speaking to folk you've never seen before, bumping into folk that you've seen heaps of times, to then we went straight into the fan park, obviously bumped into Darren, saw Dorian and that as well. Got to meet Jen Beattie.
Yeah, so you got to meet Jen Beattie. Like, I'm not letting you get away with that. There was a bit more than meeting Jen Beattie, Mel. Wasn't it?
It was a case of 2 hours to meet Jen Beattie, wasn't it, Mel?
Yeah.
We were quite lucky that me and Hannah went over to the Arsenal sort of section and got speaking to one of the girls that were working there. It turned out she was also Scottish. She's from not far away from where I am. Just taking a photo and that of us and the thing, and it said to us, "Oh, he's coming back for the player meet and greet," and I was like, "Obviously, like Jen, of course I'm going." So we got there, and she sort of just trying to organise the lines. She saw me and Hannah, and she sort of grabbed us both, and she was like, "These two are the front of the queue," and I was like, "Wow, I love you. I don't know who you are. I don't even know what her name is, but I know she was Scottish. She was blonde. She was lovely." She was like, "These two at the start of the queue," so that made it. Got Jen to sign the boot that I got from her sister. She knew who I was, sort of said hello to me by name, took a selfie of me and her on her phone to send to her sister, so that was wild. And then after that, I just got absolutely blackout drunk. Saturday was the same, lots of drinking, seeing folk that I haven't really seen that often this year because I haven't been down that often, but getting to see people like Rebecca and Nat and Kate and Daisy, who did a lot of stuff behind the scenes for the podcast when we first sort of started it up, and is now off doing her own sort of podcast and media journey and absolutely smashing it, and just getting to sort of spend the afternoon with some of my best pals and even some of my pals that I would now more class as family, and just in the stadium. I wasn't really nervous, which was quite worrying. I think I'd emotionally prepared myself for us to get absolutely battered. So when we won, I don't think I knew what to do with myself because I hadn't prepared for that scenario. I'd fully prepared for us to get either a last minute goal or to get absolutely run over. So for us to score and then win it, I couldn't believe it. And then the final whistle went and I started howling. I was sobbing, like literally covered my face with my Kim flag, and I don't think I've ever cried that hard. And then to see somebody that I've idolised for years, God, I could greet actually speaking about this right now. Somebody that I've idolised for years, somebody that I've had the honour to play with in a training game, to see her officially complete club football and get her hands on that trophy was phenomenal. She's such an icon up here. Not even just like in Scotland in general, but especially in this area. Where all like the kids' leagues and that are named after her. I play against her hometown team in my league at the minute, and it was just something that I could never have asked for. So that was I don't actually think I'll ever be able to speak about it and make full sense because I would probably end up getting. I've actually almost got tears in my eyes now speaking about it. So it was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend and a better group of people to spend it with.
Yeah, no, really well said. There was a funny time when Mel found me at the fan zone. I was with other people that I'd only just met, and there was this just a really loud Scottish voice that went, "Georgie boy," And I went, "Oh, you're right, Mel." And they was all like, "I thought you couldn't see. How do you know?" I went, "Well, she's the only Scottish woman that calls me Georgie boy like that." So it was amazing that you were there, mate. Like, I can't say it enough. It meant the world. So
I managed to gain a couple Scots as well. There was was more than just my Scotland flag in the crowd as well, which was good to see.
No, there was a good few, wasn't there? So it was good.
Yeah, got to meet a couple girls and one of the girls' partners who were from Edinburgh, and Hannah. They were speaking about it to me, and Hannah goes, "She's won the league! She's won the league!" And the girl that I was speaking to absolutely shit herself because she's a big Hibs fan. So she was about to ask me for a photo, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Should have seen how long it took to realise.
I was like, "I'm not at Hibs. Calm down.
But yeah, James. Obviously, I'll come to you because you and Laura done the watch along. Emotions, how was they? Bet you was absolutely buzzing, wasn't you?
Yeah, before the game, Laura would say herself, she was every post. We obviously, as a lot of you know, you've all seen the message getting in on Friday. Laura obviously lost a grand Friday afternoon, so emotions were already all over the place a bit. We were sort of Friday night, sort of hammer harder. Would we even be doing the watch along? Laura decided she needed it more so to take her mind off of things, give herself something to focus on. And then, the first whistle went and all bets were off after that. I think as the game went on, I was quietly optimistic. Hearing, obviously, as I say, I'm one of the ones that first hand freely admits, out with Arsenal and a select couple of teams in the women's, I know nothing. I couldn't name you a player. I couldn't tell you how good they are. I know nothing. I was expecting so much more from Barcelona. And as the game went on, it was that little, we're actually going to do this. This is going to happen. But no, as Mel says, not wanting to jinx it. As the old saying goes, the second you say it's happening, it jinxes everything. When that ball from Stina's foot hit the back of the net, we'd actually turned my light score off. And I turned mine back on and forgot to turn it back off again because I'd went for a toilet break. And I felt the phone buzzing, and so I glanced at the phone, and I didn't even see it, just live score notification. There was nothing else. And it was, we've scored. Stina scored. This has happened. This is the moment we've all spoke about. This ball has left Stina's foot and hit the back of the net, and then looked at the screen, and from there I didn't know whether to scream, laugh, cry, try to act professional for the watch along. And obviously, I don't know if there's anybody watching that wasn't watching the game, tell them what had happened. And then at full time, if you have watched the show back, you'll see me and Laura was just stunned, screamed, the scarves went up, the hugs, a lot of what was remaining of tears came streaming down the eyes. And it's just, I think it's one of those feelings that if you were to the only way I could put it, if you were to talk around and went, ball the emotion up pre-game, how's it going to feel? This is going to happen. Somebody sits down with the book, they've came back in the time machine, moment by moment, this is what's going to happen. I don't think anybody could ask for it any more perfect. It was just the absolute, to put it simply, the Arsenal way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It couldn't have been any more the Arsenal way if it tried. And to experience that, I mean, as I say, I joined maybe sort of tail end of COVID. Just after the tail end of COVID, I joined. And I've been through it all. I've seen the highs that we did have before our Conti Cups in the semi-final against Wolfsburg. I've experienced the painful lows of standing outside Man City Stadium,
watching the owners
with some of the top end of the supporters club, about how absolute pathetic our team is and why they're only settling for certain places, that will never ever be able to be taught for me. That's, for me, everything the fan base has worked towards, the clubs worked towards. That was the tip of the iceberg on Saturday. Nothing could have made it any.
Yeah, no, I agree. Before we wrap up, it was just an emotional weekend. Like generally, like there's a few people out there. I'm not going to name them all. That it wouldn't have been possible for me to be doing these Champions League games, not being able to see, being able to have help. Like I've even put Darren onto a blind course. Like that's how much it's stretched to this season. But on a serious note, if it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't have made it to watch these games. So I am quite kind of really grateful for that. And it was a really special one for me as well. Like for some people that know, my mum passed away 20 years this year. And the last big game we went to, we lost to Barcelona in the Champions League final for the men. So it kind of hit a bit of a nerve at that full-time whistle. So I know she was probably looking down. She was probably doing a Katie McCabe, to be fair, like probably drinking and swearing in heaven. So I think we're just echoing what everyone said, how much of a fan base and how great we are. Most of us are all like a family now. I wouldn't just even class people as friends. So I think that's just what we need to remember as well. And especially with the terrible stuff that happened in Liverpool, life is so short. Just enjoy it. I'm going to wrap it up now. Darren, it was brilliant spending the weekend with you as well. So thank you, mate.
No, thank you. Thank me. 3 years ago, I knew absolutely nobody at Arsenal. Now I meet all you wonderful people, and thank you for making me feel so welcome as well, George.
You're welcome, mate. Well, we've got to take you to China potentially for our Champions Cup tour, mate.
Huh?
We've got to play it in the Champions Cup or something in January, and it could be in China.
The women?
Yeah.
It's like the women's version of the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Freaking hell, better start saving up then. I'll definitely.
I know you've got contacts in China.
Yeah, well, yeah. You get me cancelled, George. Thank you, John. George, it's been an honour.
No, good, mate. Emma, thank you for coming on and everything you've done as well.
Thanks for having me, and I'm so glad that I was finally able to pluck up the courage to have a friendship with you. It's been incredible, and bring it on next season. Can't wait for all the meetups and the probably the Jaeger bombs, because I'm not going to learn my lesson. Anyway, I hope everyone else has a good summer break, and I'm sure and I'll send the questions in to you as well.
Yeah, no worries. Let's all just remember we've all probably had more shots than Barca did on Saturday. So, Paul, thank you for everything and all the work you and Esme have done with the channel and all that stuff. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just to echo what others have said, it's great to be part of this this big family that we have created over the last few years. And yeah, with everything else that happened over the weekend up in Liverpool, it's times like that you know who your friends and family are, and stick together and be strong together.
Yeah. James, thank you, mate. I know you support Rangers, but you are probably the only Rangers fan I actually like. So we appreciate you all, you and Laura, like amazing, like I said, classroom family. So thank you, mate.
You're very welcome, mate. Same again to reiterate everybody else. To turning up my first game, Chelsea, lo and behold, we get battered that day. We get absolutely demolished. But from knowing absolutely nobody to knowing some of the best people from all kinds of backgrounds that I've ever met. A very big thank you for being on, Laura, for welcoming us. And I look forward to the new season. Just before I sign off, George, there has been a comment put through, and I know you're about to go to the girl herself. On behalf of myself, Laura, and everybody in the podcast, we'd like to wish Mel in the top corner all the best for this weekend.
Definitely.
I'd see Melgan go for the ultimate promotion. So good luck.
Yeah, good
Is
luck.
that being shown anywhere, Mel? Like a live stream or anything?
It's on Sky Sports, mate.
We've not heard anything, but I think because all the games are kicking off at separate times, it might be on the SWF YouTube page. But if I get a link, I'll send it in the chat for everyone.
Perfect.
Cool.
We are there on Sunday, so me and Laura will keep everybody in the group.
Oh, you can do a watch-along, James. You know now.
I'll see if I can get my internet to work. But we'll spend in as much as we can, and obviously we wish you all the best.
Yeah, before we finish, Mel, I know you're probably going to hate me now. Thank you for everything. Like, me and Mel had a conversation about this channel probably a couple of years ago. I think it must be that now. And we thought, oh yeah, why not? We'll give it a go. So this channel wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mel. All the work she's done behind the scenes, all the meltdown she's had to deal with me with when I'm like, oh, I'm fucking blind, I can't do this shit. Like I've always said, Mel is like the sister I've never had. So thank you for everything, Mel. And we've got some really good, exciting content coming up. So definitely keep watching. Might be a cheeky Arsenal legend featuring on a podcast soon, so watch that space. So yeah, thank you, Mel. I really appreciate you. And
no problem at all. Like everybody else said, it's an absolute honour. From when I started going to games, it used to just be me, Alex, Eve, Lauren, and a few other folk, and then it's got to the point now where no matter where I'm going to a game, if it's London, if it's Lisbon, there's always somebody somewhere that I bump into that I know. So thanks to you guys for introducing me to more and more people and for making me feel so welcome. And it's just been amazing. Like, I started going to games with 5 pals, and there used to be about 100 folk in Meadow Park, and now we're taking over Lisbon in our thousands, and I class a lot of people now more as my chosen family than just my friends. So yeah, I can't thank everybody enough for all the love and support that they've given me.
And I'm sure in the summer you'll still see me in the group writing stuff that I probably shouldn't by accident because I've dictated it the wrong way. So it's all about mentality. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. The last thing we're gonna say, and Darren, I know you're gonna like this. Apparently, we went to Lisbon from North London, and we won the Champions League. Good night, everyone.
No, we went to Lisbon from North London on my friggin' own, and we won the Champions League.
I was leaving.
Can I play the video now? Are we done with Darren singing? Are we officially done? Cut the cameras! Cut the cameras! Yeah.